Bum Rush Podcast. This is a bunch of topics we've had sitting in the back burner for a while, and because we kind of want to clear the queue, we're going to use these. This was my idea to just bundle them all together because I didn't sleep last night. So, Luke, most of these you came up with. Uh,
Yeah, 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 I did. I came up with them as sort of like topics that I feel like we could discuss, but like I said, it's been in the background because we just had so much other stuff happen, like with the Power Rangers watch through and with the progression series, and now of course with me and Tyler doing Total Drama franchise.
yeah, and because I'm going to be out of the area and super busy next week, I figured while I'm sitting in front of my computer, we might as well film something before everything gets chaotic. So
Yeah, and hopefully next week, me and Arnaba will be tackling a Rui Dragon video.
that will be fun. Um, we'll start this off with like the new faces of Shonen Jump topic that you had put in. I'm going to
Yeah,
pull up the Jump app really quickly.
yeah, and
Uh,
I've got like I've got the Jump app and also the Shonen Jump News Twitter for like the table of contents.
okay, Shonen Jump. Boop 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 boop. So here we go. We have the newest titles tending to be. Well, I can't really say Blue Box is one of them. I would say Kagurabachi falls under this.
Yeah,
Rui
uh,
Dragon, sort of, kind of, because of the chapter
yes,
count. Mama
yeah.
Yu the super psychic policeman thing. Dear Anemone. Don't really think we'll call News Exorcist one of them because it's in the 40s now. Green Green
No,
Greens.
it's same thing with Kill Blue, but it's something I definitely wanted to mention, just because of how well that still is doing. And
Mm-hmm.
like Party Jam said, he was glad he caught with it. And where it is right now, because we've started like a new in that series a new battle, which is on a bus with kidnapped school kids.
Okay. That's
Yeah. So
interesting.
yeah, that's interesting. Made even more fun that we have literally a parody of One Piece's Marines because you have someone there who's
Jeez.
literally, I am all for justice, and has like the Marines cloak there. So that's kind of fun.
Oh, God. So,
Yeah.
aside from
I
that, I think
like it.
Shadow Eliminators would fit in here still. Astro Baby. But I think that's Jump Plus, and we'll get to that a little bit
That's
later.
Jump Plus. That's Jump Plus, and yeah, it's good that we're actually doing this topic today because I was talking to a friend that I know in real life who joined me and Red for a One Piece battles tier list that we did couple of years back now, where he was saying like. I'm kind of the only series that I'm reading at the moment is One Piece, and Fex, you'll be pleased to hear that he said Spy X Family got boring, so I've dropped that.
I mean, I'm not glad in the sense, like, I was talking to Red about this the other day. This is a little off topic, but I'll tie it in a second. Because we're debating on like how to handle skits moving forward because we're both like super busy. I'm going to be even more busy come May and August. Those are my two busy months this year, and we were talking about like how we would handle skits like moving forward because we want to do like a Return to the Hentai Devil skit. We teased a little bit of that on Twitter. I can't say what the idea is because Red will like kill me, but the like other skits in general, like we want to bring them back. And I'm like, I miss Spy Family for that because no matter how shitty the chapter was, unless it was like a picture chapter, right? That there were so many opportunities to pick up like little bits and pieces of stuff that was going on in the background in that series, you know? But because it got so goddamn boring to read it and so like all over the place with what it wanted to be, um, it just kind of felt like there was no direction for that series. I get that there's more of a direction now, but I still find it super boring to read. I'm still caught up with it. Uh, but like I sold my physical volumes of that. I like kind of purged all that shit out of my collection because I don't want to have a series, I'm not going to go back and read as a physical, right? I would rather go to somebody that actually enjoys it. Um, but for me, like I miss that was the same issue I was having with like Chainsaw Man for a while. I was like, there wasn't like a real direction of what I was doing, and that made like making skits for that really hard. I feel like because I've been trying to get him to read like Freyren or Zom 100 and a bunch of other other series.
That hurt. That literally hurt.
What?
What did?
Frieren.
Oh yeah, yeah. But like
Well, with that series, I'm going to be binging the anime.
that.
The anime is so fucking good. Oh my fucking god.
The fact that it's still #1 on my anime list and hasn't been knocked down by Fullmetal
Give
Alchemist.
it time. Give it time.
Yeah, but it just says something like this has probably been the longest Fullmetal Alchemist has been at #2.
Yeah, like the last time I remember that was like Attack on Titan, and then when the Code Geass movies came out, they got knocked down for a little bit. But like it's not sat in #2 for this long in ages, and I love that. But like I've been trying to get Red to read other things so we can cover other topics and make different styles of skits instead of relying on like the quote unquote nostalgia of stuff like the Hentai Devil and the other shit that we were doing.
And I mean,
we make him read Pokemon Adventures manga and just need for like this is the red and the green part. Make him read about that shit and so on.
Yeah, I've tried getting him into that too, and it didn't really
I mean,
stick.
the only series that I feel like he's really gotten into recently is the 100 Girlfriends, which me and him, we have talked about it, that we are, we're going to do like, a volume, like when like a volume worth of chapters comes out, we are going to do a video on them, on that series.
Nice. I applaud you guys in picking that up and doing that, because I have no interest in making that into content. Even if I enjoy the series, like I don't think I could translate that into something.
I don't think it's good content if transferred. I don't think it's a series that's good transferred into content.
Exactly, and
the fact that we could talk for 3 hours about one of our least favorite Power Rangers season, I think we can make anything into content.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between ranting and raving about something and trying to make content out of like a slice of life series, right? And that's where I feel like a lot of those style series kind of failed as well. It's like trying to do Promise Neverland when it got more like Adventure of the Weeky. When we tried to do like Rick and Morty, it was the same thing for me. It was like hard to translate that Adventure of the Week style stuff into content. Whereas something like Kagurabachi maybe could translate.
Kagurabachi is awesome. What the actual fuck?
I am gonna definitely give that series another chance because, like I said, I've said this before. Now that the hype and the memes have sort of died down for it, I might enjoy it a little bit more now.
Yeah, I agree, because like it was definitely overhyped. Go ahead.
I know I think the meme was too overhyped. That was the fucking joke behind it. It never was overhyped, but everyone just wanted to be part of that meme. Second of all, I don't know if you all are in the Ruri Dragon subreddit or the Kagurabachi subreddit.
Nope.
But oh my god, those two subreddits are like best friends and like partners in crimes.
I know there were, because Kagurabachi did pop up on my Reddit.
Your best friend.
Discovery.
Like literally, Ruri Dragon came out. Kagurabachi subreddit was like just full of fans of the protagonists of its series with Ruri.
Yeah,
it's like those are siblings, and like they were most happy subreddit that Ruri Dragon is back. Besides the Ruri Dragon subreddit.
Yeah, the Kagurabachi popped up on like the Discovery side of things on Reddit for me for a little bit. Because I was talking about it, I guess, in videos, when we were doing, like, the other State of Jump and everything. That was around the time it showed up, and, like, all I saw was, like, Fujo's going crazy, like, people making yaoi out of it.
I mean, it's definitely yaoi bait. I don't think there's, like, 3 or 4 named female characters.
And I did see, like, an author comment, like, he's going to keep it that way, too. Like, the author is very much, you know, dabbling into that side of things. I respect that.
It is the male fantasy of honor and shit.
Mm-hmm. But like with Ruri Dragon back, that's another one that's like a heavy hitter that I think I could get Red to kind of turn into some sort of.
Red loves Ruri Dragon. Me and Red talked about it.
Yeah.
Red is like a huge Ruri Dragon fan.
But I don't know, like, if that would translate into the skit side of things either, because it is more slice of
I
life as
don't
well.
think, yeah, I don't think it would translate that good to skit as well. I think it would be good content, like to make
Right.
like just not more relatable and shit to the audience, but not like for skits.
Yeah, yeah. And that could be like a
Or-
second series we talk about as well, like me and him. But like those two are like the really big up and comers. I feel like because Akinabashi is here to stay. That was the last one that was like, okay, this is going to stay for a while. Even if I'm not a big fan of it, I respect where it's at. But I feel like Kagurabachi and Ruri Dragon are going to be two of the big players. Like with Ruri
Well,
Dragon, it's going to be switching
well,
to Jump Plus. I know.
yeah. I was gonna say that. So like, it'll only probably be Kakurabachi in like the
Mhm.
main magazine that will be like the new heavy hitter because I feel like Two on Ice and much as I have been, despite the fact it's a golf series, I feel like Greens is
Mhm.
probably not gonna be able to survive.
Yeah.
No, what the fucking no. Like I tried to reading that shit.
Yeah,
Like
and that's fair, and that's fair, and that is fair.
like Mama Yu Yu is probably also on its way out. Because it looks like it
Well,
was bum rushing as well.
Well, a lot of people are. It's kind of up in the air with Mama Yu Yu because it did get a color page recently, but then so did Green. So you really can't predict anything now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with this era of the magazine, you really can't predict anything. There used to be like the metric of like table of contents plus, the number of color pages plus, like sales and everything, right?
Nowadays I just got out of on a vibe, and most often I'm correct. So this is Anaba's take on what series will be X and which not. On the stopping block are News Exorcist.
News
Nobody
Exorcist.
complained about it. I'm happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Zangetsu popping
yeah, so
off.
Getsu dipped out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
News Exorcist is going to be on the
Yeah.
shopping block.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Let me pull up the Shonen Salto TOC here really quick.
yeah, and I've also pulled up the monthly sales at the moment for Shonen Jump. So we haven't got any of the new ones yet, so can't really predict. But for the current ones, we've got Akane Banashi did 37,465 copies.
Mhm.
Witch Watch did 31,546. Yosakura did 19,457. And Ichinose, which is out, did 12,701. Same as Cypher Academy.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Let's see.
I feel it. I feel the vibes. Super Psychic Policeman Shoujo is going to be cancelled. I feel it in the vibes of the world.
You know what? That one, I've actually been enjoying the gag as a gag comedy for that one.
Yeah, here we
I
go.
see it being cancelled.
So
Do you think it's going to be cancelled because of the fact that they've got me and Roboco?
I just think comedy in general just has it harder than anything else because of like different sense of humor and shit.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think
Nice.
Mio's Roboc is just like a broader sense of humor which more people could enjoy. Bye bye, Tyler. Unlike Psychic Policeman, which is like really like which is like a really niche type of humor, which is like not translating that well into like for like many readers.
Yeah.
And then you have people on Twitter who are saying the obvious cliched stuff. They can't do this to insert series. It's so big, it's so good, but it's like, this is obviously what the Japanese are wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like it's no surprising Akane Banashi is in top spot this week because Rakugo is very popular in Japan. It's like a popular Japanese art form, so it's no surprising that that's at number one.
Yeah, and
Yes.
with One Piece going on like basically a month hiatus, I think some of these will get a little bit of a reprieve.
Break.
Like a little bit of a reprieve for those 3 weeks to kind of like recoup, possibly.
Yeah, and the thing is, we have to also keep in mind that none of these series will be axed until they get like a new bunch in.
Mm-hmm. But it's the start of a quarter coming up, and inevitably we get like new series around the beginning of the quarter.
Yeah,
So like it's usually 3 or 4 of them come in, and that will be like the massive dip in a
yeah.
lot of this shit, right?
So like we've got Ruri Dragon, Green. Well, Ruri Dragon's moved to Jump Plus, so that's going to be out
Right.
anyway. So it'll probably likely be Shadow Eliminators, Two on Ice, and Greens because Two on Ice has been at the back of the magazine for so long at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It is on its way out. I've noticed that for a while now. It's been hitting near the back. I try to stay off of manga Twitter, but it still finds its way to me, which is annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I only like look at the manga just to find out like, okay, which series it is in this spot of like a safe zone, if you will.
And then like we've seen Kagurabachi like bump up massively again. I feel like Ruri Dragon before it goes to the other magazine / web service, because Jump Plus is mostly web service, it'll get a massive bump as well because it was like the viral hit of last year. Um, so it'll probably like soar up towards the top of the magazine before it dips out.
And then also as well, we've got to take into account that literally My Hero Academia probably only has like about 12 chapters left because it is essentially in the final battle at the moment.
It's near the final battle.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of people I've seen just to go off on a side
Final battle. Kingdom Love's first chapter in the final battle.
Yeah, just to go off on a side tangent here, I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying like, how many chapters do you think? Because somebody predicts 12 chapters, and I think that's fair for the final battle and an epilogue for my hero. But a lot of people are saying like, no, we need 30 or 40 chapters, we need 17, and I'm just thinking like, for that guy who put 30 or 40 chapters, like, how can you get another
your brain? There's nothing
exactly
left. Like they could theoretically wrap this shit up in 2 chapters if they wanted to, right? And like just a giant like epilogue at the end, and that would be it. There's no need to drag this shit on for another year, 2 years, like people want.
Yeah, I feel like it's just those people who are like they're those people. It's those people who are like, I just read this one series. I don't want it to end. But then they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna
problem with letting go. That just nature of humans.
And then you have them saying like, okay, what am I gonna read now? And then people give them suggestions like, yeah, I don't want to read that. It's like, what do you want then? And I think I broke the video.
We just killed Vex.
Yeah, we just killed Vex.
We don't need a Vex.
But yeah, so with Super Psychic Police Chojo, like I said, I've been really enjoying that video just because but like you said, it's subjective comedy, but I just like the fact that a robot in that series is like one of the funniest characters. But I could understand where you're coming from, Ann Arbor.
I have read the first 2 chapters and I literally not even smiled once.
Oh, fair enough. Like I said, it's comedy, so it's subjective.
Yeah. That's literally my argument.
Comedy is very subjective.
I just said the vibes it gives me is the vibes of a series that's being cancelled.
Okay, fair enough.
I will die on that hill.
Fair enough. I want to know your guys' opinion. Did you tackle the anima? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I kind of fell off of it for a little bit.
I have not read it. What's this about? When Gaku lands on the Galapagos, blah 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 blah. All right, it looks horrible.
Yeah, it's like your body horror-esque bait as well.
Body horror is a terrible sense of horror.
That's the vibe I got from it, and we're already having a little bit of that in the Wild Strawberry series I was reading. So I'm like, I'll come back to this in a little bit, see where it ends up, and it's doing pretty damn good though. It's sitting at around the top of the magazine, so it'll probably stick around for a while. I read the first 2 chapters.
I feel like it's one of looking at it and seeing the vibe it's given. It's kind of like Phantom Sea. It's got like that Phantom Sea vibe, but without like the horrific horror-esque imagery, if that makes sense, Vex.
Yeah, it's not as like deep into the like occulty horror style thing. It's got more of like the body stuff going on, which I'm not always a fan of either. Like,
I just want a good eldritch horror Lovecraftian manga.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably as close as you'll get in Jump, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I don't see horror in Jump. I'm sorry, but like for it to be horror, like needs a bit more blood and like a bit more
for
like
it to be horror in Ann Arbor's world. It has to be Berserk level horror.
I mean, that's not even
Berserk is not. I literally say Berserk. This comment section, agree with me here, please. Berserk is an uplifting series after the eclipse.
I mean,
like just seeing Guts smile on the beach, looking at the wife he loves. Look, let me finish my fucking sentence. Just watching at Guts, looking into the fucking ocean, to the beach, seeing the woman he loves, playing with his friends, and him just smiling and saying, "That's nice." That's more uplifting than anything that can ever write in Jump.
Just because it has one uplifting moment,
multiple ones. Elf has a lot of them.
It's still an horrific series, even after the eclipse. Do we have to talk about Horse Coon?
Like, I'm not going to argue that it's not, like, dark and everything, right? But I will say it is more uplifting than it is dark at times. I'll agree with Ann Arbor on that. I won't agree with the fact that it is, like, 100% uplifting. I think that there is still a lot of horror and a lot of, you know...
Why? By the way, why do people still talk about Hotgun like it's not a 20-year-old meme, which everybody already forgot about?
Hey, I'm only talking about
all the community. It's about Lord Snoss.
Hey, I'm only talking about it because I've only recently viewed it for the first time, Ann Arbor.
I agree. Like, your first experience with like a really dark setting really does scar you.
All right.
But like,
maybe I'm just grew up. I mean, everybody who has seen German fairy tales knows that I don't really. Berserk is not as scary as those things. I mean, like, every German fairy tale ends with "and then they died."
Yeah, you and I grew up with a lot more of the horror aspects of things, right? Than probably Luke did.
Like, I read Berserk when I was 13.
Yeah, we read it around the same time. Whereas,
like, and I didn't. So
I also grew up with shit like Final Destination. I still can't sit behind a fucking logging truck without freaking out.
I find it hilarious. Final Destination is one of my favorite comedy movies ever.
You are fucked in the head, and that is saying something coming from me.
Yeah, you are just messed up in that.
I'm sorry, Final Destination guests are so hilarious.
Well, this is coming from the.
This video is now an intervention against my sense of humor.
Like, I don't even want to try and unpack that. So,
yeah. And Vex, this is coming from the same guy who starts every progression series with
"Welcome to Ann Arbor and friends with drugs."
Drugs, yeah.
Ann Arbor and drugs with friends. All right, at least say it right.
Okay,
but like, for me, like my limit, like horror wise, was a lot of the Saw traps. Like I couldn't deal with Saw.
I found Saw so boring as a child, and even today as an adult.
Like that, Hostel, like those things kind of were like pushing me. But I can watch somebody get their fucking whole ass body thrown into a meat grinder in a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. So I don't know what's wrong with me.
I walked in a school where people like in the age of like 12, 13, 14, like were a lot of 4chan. Like I saw pictures of like people cutting off other people's dicks and putting them in their own mouth.
What?
This is the shit.
This is
the
some
shit
live
that
leaks
people
level
send-
shit. Like,
This is the things people sent around my school. So my sense of like what's the limit is extremely warped and everything.
Yeah.
But I should end the D&D campaign.
like literally, Ann Arbor and I kind of are from the same like body like gore generation in that regards.
I'm just
Like you and I, Luke, are the same fucking age, but Ann Arbor and I apparently like saw the same shit on the internet because
yeah.
I grew up with Rotten.com.
Oh, God. I'm just gonna sing this. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, na na na.
There is no like
I can tell you some sunshine and lollipops, Luke.
like
But
you can sing Rock Candy fucking Mountain and it's not going to be enough therapy for me, okay? Like,
No, I
imagine
don't.
thinking
I don't.
there's something like enough therapy. Imagine thinking like that. The
like
therapist I went to is now in therapy himself.
I turned one of my therapists in high school into an alcoholic.
I
know exactly what will cure you, Vex. Shiny Pokemon.
No.
No.
Oh, not even the shiny Pokemon.
My favorite Pokemon Rayquaza looks great and shiny, but the green is just 10 times cooler than the black.
Yeah, green goes hard. But like I've not read a lot of these newer heavy hitters here. Other than like
I just don't read
Kagurabachi.
manga in general.
Like
Of course you don't.
Kagurabachi was the one I kind of caught up with. Rui Dragon, I got this week's chapter still to read. Shadow Eliminators just didn't interest me, and I figure it'll be pretty quickly out. What I will say is I am very...
people, we are making a video talking about Shonen Jump and not reading anything from it.
Like,
Well,
here...
hey, I'm reading quite a lot of what's available at the moment.
See, I dropped Kill Blue, and it's got a fucking color page, right? I dropped Blue
Yeah.
Box very early on into when I was streaming manga, right? Because it just bored the shit out of me, and it's getting a fucking anime. So objectively, I'm not the best judge for what's good, but I will say here, because we've talked about this for like 27 minutes, of which like half of it might be actually in that topic. I will say, like, I very much like this trend that we're seeing now of letting authors try a little bit harder than we were seeing when we first started this kind of like State of Jump and, you know, the quarterly like revisiting stuff, because it seems like they're at least giving them more chapters to try and tell the story than they used to, right?
Yeah, because at the moment, like, how many chapters does 2 on Ice have?
Let me pull it back up here. Nope, that's the wrong browser. I got 2 browsers open. I got fucking like 18 tabs on each of them open right now.
24.
Yeah, sitting at 24.
Yeah, so it
I
has
don't
been
know.
going for a little while, like half a year. That's for a series that has been at the back of the magazine for this long. That's something to be commendable for.
I wonder if they had pitched it as like a shorter series and it was like, "I'll just run your course" kind of thing.
It probably was. It probably was.
Because you look at stuff like Shoujo Null, which is I believe a Jump Plus or a Jump SQ title.
Yeah.
It's sitting at 19. It came out right around the same time, and I was enjoying the hell out of Shoujo Null. I still am. But I will say, like, I don't think it would fare as well in like the regular Jump either, because it is very much a different type of story. And I feel like this like allowing them to go to whatever magazine they choose, even if they're a newer author, is also helping immensely in the manga industry. I do have a little bit of a rant around one of these other topics, which I feel like we should kind of pivot to, because we're talking about a lot of Jump Plus and Jump SQ stuff.
I'll just say one thing. Vex. I would definitely recommend for where we are right now, because it really has been picking up, because now we're getting into like the lore of the series and like the enemy faction. So I definitely say pick up Kill Blue again.
Okay, I'll think about that one. Depending on how much time I have while I'm unemployed.
think about it. But yeah, also as well, I'm gonna plug it here because Party Jams plugged it on Twitter. Since Witch Watch is so underrated, go and watch mine and Party Jam's Witch Watch video.
Here's where I'm confused. In Ann Arbor, I think you'd be a better judge of this.
I am a judge.
Yeah, you're a judge. What the fuck magazine is 2.5 dimensional subjection in?
It's in Jump Plus.
It's in Jump Plus. Okay.
Why do you think I would know that?
Because it seems like a title you would read while you're fapping in the corner.
I am not fapping.
You know what?
I'm looking at Rule 44 meme.
You know what?
Rooms 4.
You know what, Vex? I would have thought 2.5 dimensional seduction would have been a title that was right up your alley.
Listen, I'm a degenerate, but even reading stuff like Ayakashi Triangle at work, which was a choice on my part, I agree, made me feel like I should be on a watch list.
Yeah, hey, reading Ayakashi Triangle in public is the equivalent of watching gushing over magical girls in public. It's something you don't do.
I was walking into work while I was still watching the last 3 minutes of the last episode.
Oh my god, thanks. Oh my god.
I'm like, I'm gonna close this and watch this in the break room in the corner when I'm done.
2.5 dimensional, whatever that name was.
It's basically, from what I read of it, cosplay. It's a cosplay manga.
It's that shit. Yeah, I've read that.
Yeah, so I read a little bit of that. I need to read more of it because it was pretty.
It's get way worse of time. It's like I literally dropped it like after chapter 113 or so.
Well, considering it took you that long to drop
How did it take you that long to drop a series?
I'm a competitive person. Me dropping something is really hard if it gets me.
That's fair, considering I went back and read what I had dropped of fucking Spy Family just to see if it got good again. But like, Magical Girl Subume is another one that I read because I liked Mapolo's art. It is challenging as shit to read at times, though, because of the art style. I will 100% agree with people on that. But I do think it is a good series if you want to dive into that. Astro Baby is by the same author that did Soloist in the Cage, which I fucking adored. So I highly recommend that series as well. What are your recommendations of the current running for Jump Plus?
I need to really get back into some of these series myself. But I will say, one series that I was very much enjoying was Demon Lord Exchange, which I want to get back into. Which is basically, okay. You have the Demon Lord who's like, right, I won't kill your friends unless I swap bodies with the body of your love interest. And so the Demon Lord in that series has to be a hero for 1 year, and they're like, how the fuck do I be a hero? So I liked what I saw so far. That's something I really would like to get back into. Shoujo no, that's something else that I would recommend. But the one that I think I definitely really want to start up again, because I really did enjoy a lot of what I saw, was Kindergarten Wars.
Yes, Kindergarten Wars is so fucking good.
I just want to read more Oshinoko.
Oshinoko is like the basic, like, everybody enjoys this, it seems like.
Have you read it?
I have. I also watched the anime. I'm like 15 chapters behind in Oshinoko right now, though.
Both are like 15 pretty fucking awesome chapters.
Yeah. And I will say,
don't ask Twitter. Don't ask.
Okay.
Twitter's fucking a cesspit anyway, so I don't really care. I will say, like, there is one other one that I feel like is going to get a massive surge, and I think you can both agree with me here, and that is fucking Dandadan. Because the anime is coming out real soon.
Yeah, it's coming out at the end. It's coming out at the end of the year, and it's definitely a series that. It's definitely a series that. Oh, go ahead.
Like, I thought it was like next season it was coming out.
No, it's October that it's coming out.
October, goddamn.
Yeah.
I literally have no knowledge of what
No.
fucking month it is half the time anymore.
No,
To
I
be
think
completely
what's
honest.
coming out. I think what's coming out next season, is a series that would be, considering you're a magical girl fan, it would be right up your alley.
Maglemare.
Maglemare, yeah.
I've had that recommended to me so many times. Is it really worth my time?
Yes, it is, Vex. I have not caught up with it yet, but from what I've seen, I've been generally happy with it.
Okay, I will read that because I fucking love me magical girls. So I'll read that one.
It's basically like what would happen if magical girls existed in our world and it was like a regular job.
Okay, that does sound pretty fucking cool. I know Heat Gear was on a massive hiatus and it came back, so a lot of people are happy about that one. I have not really read a lot of that. I read like the first 5 chapters of that one. And then there is one other one that really got my interest because of you, Luke, and that was Shiburatan, or however the fuck you say that.
Yes,
it is like meme fuel. That is meme fuel.
It is meme fuel, and it's a series that you after a while you're like, okay, I need to take a break from this series because the imagery, like just the art and imagery of just like,
it reminds me a little bit of Promised Neverland in that regard.
Yes, because it's like one of us, it's literally that one of us meme.
Right, and I love that, and I hate that at the same time, because you're right, like, it is something that you need to, like, step away from for a little bit, and then you realize, like, you've stepped away for, like, 3 months.
Yes.
Because, like, the last time I read it was the last time we filmed one of these videos.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as well, and what I really, and I'm gonna say this as another rant against Manga Plus in general, what I really hate about it, is I really wish there was like a way to be like, okay, last chapter you viewed was insert number chapter.
See, on like the app for Manga Plus, right? There's the fucking. I hate that everything is now a subscription service. Like, I fucking hate that. I hate that there are like 9 billion fucking subscription services in general. But with the Manga Plus subscription, where it's like $5.99 a month, I think, to like unlock everything, it is so worth it, because it does keep keep track better that way. I ended up caving and fucking buying it, and I hated myself for it. But I also canceled K-Manga and like a lot of the shit that I was doing for that other side of things. I just went back to pirating like Kodansha titles, because I do not give a shit. I am refused to pay to read part 1 and part 2 and part 3 of a fucking chapter of Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh my god! Don't even
want to read Domestic Girlfriends.
I was just using as an example, because they split it into 3 different parts. They did the same thing with fucking Ranger Rejects. Witch Hat did the same thing. Like, they split chapters.
That is another topic. That is
a rant for another goddamn video.
Because that's the topic I would want to talk about. Like, say we've read multiple series by different authors, like compare and contrast.
Yeah, I definitely would be in that, and like also adding in like the rant against like certain ways that they're handling subscription service. I think Red and Party James would be a great cast with that, as well as you and me.
Yeah, because I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you hated Domestic Girlfriend for where it went, go and read the author's first series, G.E. Good Ending, because that is a million times better than Domestic Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I should just all read God series does.
So there are 2 new series that premiered in Jump Plus here recently as well. And I cannot pronounce one of them, and the other is Days of Diamond. Kataneko, I think is how you say that one. It looks like it's a rugby series, which is a choice.
That's one.
Yeah, that one.
Fuck. Catasio.
Yeah.
Catasio.
Yeah, that one. However you say that. The art style on the cover on Manga Plus's website looks pretty dope, but I'm not a sports person. I really am not. And, like, I know that is sequestering me from a giant chunk.
I like
Okay. I don't know if my internet cut out or yours did there because I got
It was his.
Okay.
It was his.
Because I know there's somebody playing the PS5 in the other room. So.
That didn't cut out. I just yawned.
Oh, okay.
I just cut myself out with yawning.
Oh, okay. But like there's something to be said about like sequestering yourself away from a certain subsect of manga. I mean, it's detrimental to like your branching out, but like every sports series I've ever read just bores me to tears, except for fucking Baki, and that's not even really a sports series. It's just what the fuck am I reading?
I think we need
some...
a chess manga, like an awesome chess manga.
I did read Hikaru no Go back in the day too.
I am genuinely curious. I am genuinely curious about what is it about sports manga that just can't grab you, Fex? I'm genuinely curious about that.
I think it has to do with the fact that my dad used to put me in every sport ever to try and like bond when I was in high school, and I fucking despise sports because of that. That might be it. I watched like Tiger Mask the anime because I like pro wrestling. That I enjoyed a little bit, you know, like stuff like that. I don't mind. I don't mind like MMA because that's something I also participated in to the detriment of my own body. But like for the most part, like
MMA.
For the most part, like just sports in general, anything that I was forced into, I just can't stand. Golf, can't stand it. Basketball, can't stand it. Baseball, can't stand it. Like those types of things that just, you know, bore me to tears.
The best sport ever is chess.
There is one series that I think, even if you're not a sports fan, I think would kind of work for you. And that would be Dog's Red, the ice hockey manga. Because even though it's a sports manga, the fact that it's ice hockey and that can get really fine and really intense at times, I would say
I tried the first 2 chapters of it and it just didn't capture me either.
Oh,
Like
okay,
I give every manga at least a little bit of a chance eventually that pops into Jump, because this is kind of like our jobs in a way. Even if we're doing it mostly for fun, I consider it like a job. So I tried to at least do some research for most of them, even if it seems like I do fuck all. Like I really do try. Like Akinabashi, I gave like 5-6 chapters ago on stream too because you kept talking about it. But it just also didn't capture me. I liked PPPPP because I'm more of a music person. The film one, I forget the name of it, that was around the same time. I did enjoy that as well.
Tamaku Cinema,
I did enjoy that one a bit more as well, and they were all around the same time. But there's just something to be said. Now I'm diving down fucking One Piece, which is a choice. I'm waiting on the second box set to arrive, which also was a choice of me to buy, considering I might be unemployed in 2 weeks. But I did buy it so I'd have something to do. And I've kept with it more because I'm reading it physical and I'm investing in it, you know, and that's giving me more of an incentive to do the thing versus like reading it on the website and then, you know, doom scrolling on TikTok for 4 hours, coming in, playing a game, you know. And I also have somebody else holding me accountable for it in Red because he also wants, you know, me to experience it and, you know, enjoy it. And we lost in Ann Arbor. But like there is something else here in the lovely little topic side of things. I don't know if we've just lost Ann Arbor in general or if he's just lost his service. But we have like this interesting bit of the cancellation of too many Jump Plus titles has been this back burner topic, and I feel like that is an interesting conundrum we have with
because with the cancellations at the moment, like we've pretty much brought this up in earlier in the video, but it does seem like you said, like Jump is the main magazine is giving them a little bit more leeway at the moment because you have like series, because I feel like the reason why Oda is going on break is because he's this arc at the moment, like the Egghead arc, is one of the better One Piece arcs, and he does deserve all the break he can get now.
And I feel like he also is working on season 2 of the live action.
Yeah,
because he's known to be handling stuff in that.
Yeah.
And he could also be having a hand in the reboot of the anime as well to make sure it goes on the right path and paced properly. Because you've seen that he's more into the production of things in the regular anime now. Oh.
Yeah, which is kind of I feel like the same case with Kubo with Bleach, why we haven't got Burn the Witch season 2 yet. Because he's working exclusively with the anime, and hey, we might get that Hell arc. Who knows? But yeah, going back to what I was saying, we also it also might be a case of like, okay, because these series are there he is, because these series are going on break a lot more now. Like it's given less for series to be cancelled.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Ann Arbor, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was having the same issue with my IEMs. That's why I muted for a second. But there with the breaks and everything and the jumping in and helping with the production of the anime, I feel like that also gives there's one other aspect that I think we overlook, and that gives the creators a chance to have something that they didn't used to have, and that is a more true to the source material product as well with the anime. And that is very helpful to keep fans invested in the IP as well. Because if you look, even if Kubo had hands and stuff like the Bound arc and the Sword Beast arc and everything, it was still filler and it still weighed down the actual product itself, you feel?
Which makes it even more funny when you realize when you see that clip of someone in court using the Bound arc as like filler to
21 Savage, I think.
Yeah, you've seen the clip, haven't you?
Yeah, I saw the clip and I'm like, I never thought I'd see a filler arc used in a court defense, but it was a funny meme.
It was a funny meme. But yeah, and also as well, to all those people who are going like, who are, I know probably half of them are just trolling, but to the other half who are like actually seriously being like, what am I going to do for 3 weeks without One Piece? There are all these other series to read.
I understand when somebody's invested 20 plus years of their life into something and they want to continue to see it, right? I totally get that side of it, right? Ann Arbor 46 is playing Master Duel. But like there's something to be said about the dependence that we have on some of these series. Like I know, like when I was younger and I was reading,
most people don't read anything else on One Piece.
Exactly,
they don't want to commit to another series until they are done with the first one.
Red and I talked about this. I believe it was during the Kishimoto. The Toriyama video, not the Kishimoto video. Like he had this tendency to stick with one series and see it through, like Bleach and then Hunter x Hunter and Naruto and all these things. I was that way with Naruto for the longest time. I wanted to finish that series, and that was the thing that consumed me, right? And then when that was done, I was kind of lost for a while on like what I wanted to read. I know I could have chose a better fucking series. So you can sound off in the comments about I'm a fucking idiot for that. But I was also like late teens, early 20s when I was reading that, right? And that was like a giant chunk of my childhood was reading that series while watching Dragon Ball Z Kai on Toonami. But there was like a giant chunk of my childhood which was just that, right? And like I feel like that's the same thing with like One Piece, right? This was a giant chunk of these people's childhood, so like they want to see that through and kind of finish the journey, you know? So, like, 3 weeks for them, if that's the only thing that they read, because that's the only thing they want to, like, have this encyclopedic knowledge like Red has with, like, every Bankai and Shikai and Captain and all that, because he read Bleach for so long. You know, I feel like there are people that probably know every single Devil Fruit and every power and every, every type of hockey that every member has and all of that.
People.
Right, Ann Arbor's people. But like you know what I mean? Like that's how these One Piece fans kind of are. So like I sympathize with that to a degree, but at the same time there are hundreds if not thousands of other stories out there to experience, and that is
Not one of them is as good as One Piece.
yeah. But like you could take 3 weeks to read a short series, you know, and kind of experience a different genre. Maybe you could go and read a sinning.
Next, do you have time to read a short series, or do you say no? You have some better things to do.
I mean,
Because
I have
we
other.
both know you are the person you say you have better things to do.
I mean, I do say that a lot, but like, I want something to have more than 20 chapters, if you know what I mean. Like, that's where I find like the cutoff point for things. You know, it's like, okay, we got 20 chapters. It might be safe, it might not, you know, but that's a chance to actually sit and read something. I sat down and read.
Yes.
I sat down and read both of the spin-offs of Ancient Mage's Bride while I was on tour, and I had not read more than like the first couple chapters of those during a stream because I didn't even know there were fucking spin-offs to that, right? Like the Wizard's Blue and the Jack Flash spin-offs. And then when I saw that, I'm like, well, I'll buy the volumes and have them shipped to an Amazon locker, and then that's what I did. And that was an experience I got to have because I was sitting down and I didn't really have a lot of other shit to do, you know, other than read that. But then at the same time, I put off like Mission Yosa Core Family for fucking 15, 20 chapters. Sakamoto Day sat there and I had like 30 chapters of that, and I went back and read that when I didn't have anything else to read. But like for something like One Piece, I put that off for fucking years and years and years and years. And then when we first started making content, I read up to like Whole Cake, and then I got distracted and let other things take over, and now I'm going through it again, and I'm committing to the bit essentially with like buying the physicals. That's kind of like where I'm at in that middle ground. But with like Jump Plus, like you have series that are 5, 10, 15 chapters long. There's no excuse for people to not actually sit down and enjoy the series for what it is. But I do feel like there is a slew of shit in that too. Like there are some dog fucking shit series in Jump Plus, and I feel like that's a testing ground for Shueisha, essentially. Like, does this author kind of have the strength to be a weekly author? Do they, you know, just want to tell a short story? Or, you know, the other, you know, option is just like, well, this author, you know, wanted to tell like this one-off kind of thing and then fuck off and do something else for the rest of their life. Because a lot of those authors have not done another thing since they've wrote something in Jump Plus either. Which is crazy. But like there is so much good in there as well. Like Abyss Rage was one of them that I was blown away by, that was recommended heavily by like the community. Fabuyo especially kept pushing that one. Diamond in the Rough, you know, that's another really good one.
Yeah, there's also which is another series that I really need to get back into. Jimuri Shoku Blight of Men, which is another one of those horror theme series where people get mummified. It's mummified, and it's about one guy and another guy who died who have to share the same body.
Yeah, I mean, look to recent jump axes of like Fabricant 100, right? That I feel like will work better in Jump Plus. And,
yeah.
And I feel like something like Abyss Rage would have worked better as like a weekly manga.
Yeah, and I feel like the reason why I put this down as like too many Jump Plus titles, like I said in the past, it's just for the fact that you keep seeing like, okay, this series is starting, 14 chapters, it ends. 13 chapters just kept going on and on and on and on.
There was literally like 2 months straight where like there was nothing but like this series is ending at chapter 13, and that's what brought this topic up.
Yeah, everywhere else we have.
Can I finish?
No.
Can I finish? Please.
No. Everywhere else we have like multiple like books where like people can print out the like short stories. Manga doesn't have that.
Yeah,
Shonen Jump Plus was like the first place for people to like post their short stories.
And I understand that, but when it's like happening all at once, it got a little bit overwhelming, and I feel like it would benefit, and I've said this before, it would benefit if we had like an app where like, okay, all the series that are ended that are short series, okay, they go not an app, but like a section of Manga Plus where it's like, okay, this is a section for all the short series, and this is a section for all like the medium series. So like
separate your
just
it always works great separating fan bases.
Yeah. No, I don't mean like separate the fan base. I just mean like separate the manga. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but that will separate the fan base if you like put them like behind different windows or like things and shit.
Yeah, I feel like Jump at this point just needs like a short form magazine, and that's but at the same time, like they have 5
digital form in Shonen Jump Plus.
Yeah, that's fair. But they also have like 5 different fucking magazines too. Like it's like Shonen Sunday. They got the Jump SQ. They got like Jump Plus app thing.
Asia has 100 magazines. Jump is just one of them.
Yeah, and then like regular Jump. They have all of this shit. It just needs like better organization, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. But also as well, it's funny that you bring that up about Shueisha having over 100 magazines. And because you see all those comments of like, when One Piece ends, Weekly Shonen Jump is gonna drop off and everything. I'm just there thinking like, you do realize it's owned by Shueisha, which has a bajillion other magazines. So
right, like.
I think it's all gonna be fine even when One Piece ends.
Yeah. Let me just
was fine by far, like just along the legacy of the people left behind who worked well for like figures and keep alive. Just like put another fucking Dragon Ball spin-off in it and it's done. Mexico alone will like give them enough money to stay up.
So on the Jump side, right? The Jump magazine line, you have Weekly Shonen Jump, Jump SQ, Saikyo Jump, V Jump, and Jump Giga, right?
Yeah. And
Senin, you have Young Jump, you have Ultra Jump, Grand Jump, you have Grand Jump, Mecha, Muka, Shoujo, you have Ribbon, you have Margaret, you have Basatsu Margaret, Cookie, Cobalt. Josei, you have Cookie, Kuchana, Office U, like literally, and then there's like a whole other like 5 subsections on their Wikipedia page, like literally.
Yeah. And also as well to go back on that brief topic of
quickly, guys, it's 1 a.m. I have to go to sleep.
Okay.
Nice night.
Okay.
Bye.
Good night.
Okay. Night.
Yeah. Night. Yeah. So what I was gonna say, so like going back to what I was saying about One Piece ending, there's a good chunk of series like that are gonna be like the new pillars of Jump, because I'm not counting series like Blue Box or Elusive Samurai, because with Elusive Samurai, you know that author doesn't like to do long form series. Blue Box, I feel like it's gonna be it'll end in the next 2. It'll end around the same time as One Piece. So we've got series.
We can't put My Hero there. We can't put JJK there because they're both in final arcs. We can't put me and Roboco because it could end in 1 year or it could end in 75 years, right?
Yeah, but I said when we did our Witch Watch video that Witch Watch will be around for quite a while because it's like being done in parts. But unlike Chainsaw Man, Part 2 I feel like is going to be better than Part 1.
Right, and like Sakamoto Days is another one that could end pretty soon, or it could carry on for a decent amount of time. Rui Dragon isn't going to be in Jump. Undead Unluck probably going to end in the next year or so, and God bless the world for that ending. I know.
Mission Yosakura Family, I feel like it's got, I would say at this point, got about another like year at most for Mission Yosakura Family. So really, the only they'll probably want to keep around the 3 or 4 series that they'll probably want to keep around for a while until they can get some new stuff. Finding Feet are Witch Watch, Kill Blue, Sakamoto, and Akane Banashi.
Yeah, but like. Fucking Sakamoto could also end relatively quickly if they want to. It's one of those that's like up in the air as well. But I feel like it will stick around longer than not long, because there's a lot that they could flesh out in that universe.
Yeah, and like I said with Kill Blue, because like we've got the different enemy factions and the fact that people are starting to find out what the main character is sort of all about. So that could lead in some interesting development.
Oh, for sure.
Moving along. Yeah.
I
Because that Justice guy was like, I'm gonna arrest you if I find out that you've got a gun. He finds out that he's got a gun. He's like, okay, until we get out of this situation, I'm gonna work with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that will lead to some interesting developments probably. Maybe Dear Anemone will keep around for a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Mama Yu probably not though. Like that'll either end in this batch of axing or the next batch. Which is unfortunate because it could have been promising if it did better, But that is, that's the game of the manga universe. Is like you could end in 13 chapters, you could end in like 5,000. It just depends on like how well you do and everything. But I feel like there's a need to transition to the next topic here since we've kind of talked this one off.
Yeah.
I feel like the overarching versus episodic stuff is the next like interesting topic, right?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna leave that for another video.
That might be better for another video, actually.
Yeah, it would be.
Because the one I ended up deleting was like the censorship in media, and I feel like that also could fit into that same topic as well. So the next one that I feel like out of this little bundle I got here, what we're hoping for Jump moving forward, right? And I want two things for Jump moving forward. I want reorganization of how their magazines are handled, because it is a mess to figure out what magazine something is in, and especially like on their apps, right? Like you have the Viz stuff sequestered to like the Viz section of the website or the Viz app. You have the stuff that's like Jump related on the Jump app. And then in the Manga Plus app, good fucking luck, right? Like, it is all one giant conglomerate of every title that they've ever written that's on there, right?
It's not even all of them.
Yeah, no, that's true as well, because there are some that are, like, region locked and all that. But, like, there's, like, 300, 400 titles all on one web page on there. And, like, in the app, it's just as bad. I would like to be able to, like, at least filter by like genre or by like magazine even. That would be nice. And like I know they have like Josei, Shonen, seinen, all this stuff in their own magazines physically, but like no knowledge of what's going on inside the apps, none. So that would be a helpful one. So at least people will know, like, okay, this is the magazine that this is in. This is like the demographic. That kind of thing would be really nice, because there are people that just don't want to read, a generic shonen. There are people that just don't want to read, something that is like 7,000 chapters long, right? So having like maybe a filter button inside that, even for like number of chapters, that kind of thing would be helpful. I realize like this is just a nitpick from like a development side, but that would be nice. And it would cause them to like have to renegotiate like where things are at inside like their own publication department as well, I feel like. Because you would, if you're going to be like a shonen, you could go into these magazines and it will filter into these categories. Right. And then, for like the seinen side of things, you go in these magazines and it will fit onto these sides of the apps or the everything. That would be really helpful. At least from our perspective too, as content creators, like, okay, this is from Jump SQ. If we want to film a video about Jump SQ, we can talk about that, right? Instead of having to dig through like, okay, so this series actually fits into here, and we have to have a spreadsheet inside of another spreadsheet to figure out where the fuck something goes. I feel like this is more nitpick for that side of things. But I do want, like, from a realistic perspective, I do want the actual some transparency from Jump in like the ways that a series actually gets canceled. That would be so helpful.
Yes, because what I hope for Jump moving forward is kind of like I want there to be like a situation where it's like, okay, they sit down, like when they decide like, okay, we are going to publish you, but before we decide to publish you, we need to sit down and think like, okay, say your series doesn't work out. Do you have an ending where it's like, okay, it can fit in, it can stop here, or say for example, if it what we've always said with Promised Neverland, that what should have happened was like, okay, what should have happened is like, we sit down, okay, you've got the story planned out until the end of Gracefield. Okay, do you have something so like if it does become popular, can you have it moving forward? So something like that, where it's like you have a clear plan in place for all these series, like after One Piece, because obviously when One Piece ends, like they're going to be like scrambling to have as many series as possible.
I mean, we had that with Bleach too. Like we had the like throw shit at the wall till it sticks with like Red Sprite and Demon's Plan and all of that. And we'll have that with JJK as well. We'll have that with My Hero. We'll try and bring up a bunch more hero manga. We'll have a bunch more of like the fucking Exorcist manga, because obviously like Blue Exorcist will also be ending at some point relatively soon. We'll have Seraph of the End possibly ending, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, Twin Star Exorcist did end, I think. I'm not 100%.
I'm not sure. I think that's still running from what the last time I looked into what was going on with that series. But yeah, my point is that I really hope moving forward that they have like clear plans for all their series, particularly after like the big ones that are super popular at the moment end.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with like that side of things, right? You know, there's going to be, you know, blowback to like One Piece ending, because there's going to be people that won't want to let it go. There's going to be a lot of people like super depressed that it's finally ended after 30 plus years, you know, that kind of thing. And I respect that, because like that is one of the longest running manga of all time, is also like one of the most successful media franchise of all time, is bigger than Superman, is bigger than Batman, you know, it's bigger than like all of our heavy hitters here in America. So like massive respect to Oda.
Yeah.
But like there is going to be a void to fill, and I do understand where like a lot of the doomsayers are coming from on Twitter and, you know, YouTube and like all of that because of that. I don't agree with it being the end of the fucking magazine, because like we've went through, there are dozens upon dozens of magazines inside that.
Absolutely not. But to go off on a side tangent with what you said there, it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to use this as an example, but there's a soap that has just been announced to be ending in the UK, and it's kind of the same thing here. Like, even if you're not a fan of like TV soaps, it still helped a lot of people to get into the industry, like the industry and that. So my respect for that. And it's like with one of that ending, it's like what people are going. It's pretty much a similar situation on that end.
Like when General Hospital ends here in America, is going to be a fucking nightmare for white women everywhere. But like, it's the same thing with like fucking, you know, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, any of the soaps we have. Like Grey's Anatomy is like one of them. It's just like insane. Like it's such a popular franchise that they have their own scrubs for fucking Grey's Anatomy. I am not kidding. Like hospital scrubs are Grey's Anatomy branded here. But like there is, you know, a giant portion of the industry that gets into things and, you know, joins because of inspiration of stuff like that, or because they have opportunities like that. Like a lot of Power Rangers actors went on to, you know, star in soaps as well.
Yeah, and to star in anime.
Yeah, like literally, like there are like the Pappenbrooks were in Power Rangers, like Richard Horvitz was in Power Rangers. Like there are, like, if you can think of a voice actor, they are probably a monster in a one-off episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah. It's like name any actor, particularly Bleach. Bleach is like the one that I always go to, because like half the cast for that series has voiced a monster in Power Rangers.
And also like for the like Sword Art Online is another big one. But also there's a giant, if you think Funimation in general, like they were in that. Because you had a bunch of the Funimation people in there. But like with like the moving forward side of things, like once the big three that are in there now, like One Piece, JJK, and fucking My Hero, are over, we're going to see the scramble again. And the scramble is always this like period of a lot of like series coming in and rotating out constantly. And that is when we see like the bad press of like, well, Jump is dead, and
Yeah,
this killed it, right? And I don't want to add
yeah.
to that discussion personally. What I will say is I feel like it will be the end of this current era of Jump. And
Oh, it will absolutely be the end of this current era. When My Hero ends, which I am gonna call it now. I do not see My Hero getting out of this year.
I think it might escape this year and lead into early next year, just simply
No,
on the fact that they're going to want to milk it till the next movie comes out. Um,
probably now that you said that, but that will mean like, okay, he's going on break. This week he's going on break. It'll probably be like one chapter break, one chapter break, one chapter break, one chapter break.
it could be that, or it could be like a prolong because of season 7 as well. Because he'll probably want to have some input into season 7,
Yeah,
along with like the movie. It's the same situation
honestly,
that like Toritaro's in with Dragon Ball Super right now. Now that the arc's over, he's going on like an indefinite hiatus, which I feel like was already planned because there wasn't a lot to do after this until they like storyboarded more shit. And now that Toriyama's gone, he'll have to do it kind of on his own.
yeah, which is big shoes to fill.
Oh god, I do not envy that man. But like there is like I feel like we've already kind of entered into a new era of Jump with these new titles of like no more long, like super long running series. Like we see the average being around 300 chapters,
Yeah,
and I feel like
like,
that's a healthier site for the industry in general.
yeah, like I definitely see. I see Kill Blue beating potentially 280 at the absolute maximum. Mission Yosakura, probably around the same. I would say I could see that because we're on like 218 at the moment. I could see that maybe sort of squeaking the 300 mark. But that's being, I would say,
Overly
very
generous.
generous,
Yeah.
overly generous.
I can see
Um,
Sakamoto hitting 300 just because of how much
yeah,
is still left. I don't picture somebody like an Undead Unluck continuing
no.
past the end of the year too much either. Maybe
Uh,
squeaking into the same time frame just because we're on like the final reset. We're nearing end game stuff.
yeah. I
From what
mean,
I've
the only thing that
seen.
yet, yeah, I mean, the only thing that they really need to get back in Undead Unluck is Andy, and then go after God, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't really see it, carrying on too much longer. Um
Yeah.
but
Um.
I feel like once we get past like what's in the magazine now, it's going to be like a scramble to be the next big thing. And we've seen two different sides of like the next big thing. We saw like the early Horikoshi slash fucking Tabata stuff come out of that. Um we've seen the toxicity that comes with that as well. Like you're not cut out for this with them fumbling the bag with AOT in particular, right? I
Yeah.
feel like we're going to be a little bit more reserved on what we turn away in this like where we're going moving forward with Jump. But I do feel like they're also going to be more selective as well because everywhere in the world is kind of cutting back on what they're doing. And I feel like we might also see the end of the print magazine in general once One Piece is over. Because, like, let's be real here. Like, the big reason for people to buy the print magazine right now is to have the collection of One Piece as they come out, right? So we
Yeah.
might see a push to an all digital side for, like, the weekly Shonen Jump magazine and then just print volumes. And that would create a whole new metric in like what stays and what's going because they don't have to really waste the ink, they don't have to waste like the print paper, they don't have to do any of that. But at the same time, we would see like solely based on the like maybe an in-app survey or a like volume based sales perspective of it moving forward for like the axing. And I feel like that might actually be healthier if they do that. Whereas like there's more of a chance for people that are buying the volumes, because I would give them, 8 to 10 chapters to find their footing, and if people like it, they'll buy the volume. Versus, living week to week based solely on the survey in the back of the magazine. I don't know on that though. Like I don't know if Japan in general would like that, because they seem to be a lot more attached to like the physical print media there than we are here, because obviously like fucking America and Britain and everything seems to be pushing towards like more and more digital. And like looking to like the fact that stores are removing physical media here, especially like Best Buy no longer carries Blu-rays or vinyl or anything. Walmart's slowly phasing it out as well. So who knows on that? But like, I don't know. I have a lot of hopes for like the new era as well, because I would like to see more diversity in what's in the magazine. Even if I don't like a sports manga, I'd like to always see like a sports title in there. I would like to see.
Because there might be a sports title that one day really grips you, Vex.
I don't see that happening, but like I would at least be, happy for fans of that genre, right? I would like to see a new Exorcist manga that's super successful, like JJK's done. I would like to see like a new superhero manga, or like a mech. Like where the fuck is a mech in Weekly Shonen Jump? Right? The closest we've gotten is like potentially like Candy Flurry with the Candy Mech. That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny, but that just went.
Yeah, no, like that bombed hard. Like it was a fun series for what it was, but like it just lost the whole plot very quickly.
What I really want, again, is I know it's technically not science fiction in the traditional sense, but I would want another like Dr. Stone style series, like a sci-fi series that's not really a sci-fi series, like
it has like sci-fi elements to it, but not full on sci-fi.
Yeah, like maybe like a series that we've finally mastered space travel, and you just see them going into space like for the first time, something like that.
But like something like Super Smartphone, like that was a unique premise,
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so do you? I don't know if you had that over there, but had this series over there, but. Do you remember a series called Farscape?
Yeah, we've had it. I don't really consider myself like somebody that watched a lot of it. I've seen some of it.
Yeah. I'm just going to use that as an example, because that was a series that I thought would be right up my alley, but for some reason I could never really get into it. But I'd like a series like that, where it's like, you have a astronaut who goes to space for the first time, and he gets sucked into a wormhole, and he realizes that the universe is more incredible. So like you have a sci-fi action shonen battle series.
Yeah, like. See, for me, like I was more into like Babylon 5, and they came out around the same time. But like it was more of a Star Trekky than like Farscape was like the crazy wacky side of sci-fi. And I should go back and watch Farscape now that it's over and easily accessible for the most part.
Hey! We could do that. We could do that as a watch along.
That's like what, 450 episodes?
No. I think it's only 4 seasons. Farscape. Let me look at Farscape.
Might need that as a palate cleanser between Fairy Tail.
88 episodes, 4 seasons,
and I think there was a movie too. But like,
and there was like, but there were 50 episodes. There were 50 minutes apiece.
It's not horrible either.
But it's not impossible that we could do that.
Yeah, that's something we could do at some point. But like there. Like a fucking crazy series that's just so out of pocket, like Chainsaw Man comes along once in a lifetime, really.
Yeah.
Because it really shocked a lot of people, like how graphic it was. And then we had like the shock value of the first chapter of Undead Unluck as the hook. But like,
but I think that's another thing. What we hope for Jump moving forward is not these like shocking moments that are there just for shock value to blue ball people into a series.
Right, because like realistically, Undead Unluck doesn't have a lot of that stupid shit in it past the first few chapters, right? And
Yeah.
I hate when there's like a false hook to a story. Like the first
Yeah,
chapter of fucking Promised Neverland also did it, but it also did still have like the horror
yeah,
elements of it
it's
throughout.
still it still had the horror elements throughout, and also 100 Girlfriends didn't need to do that to get me hooked into a series. It just had like a unique concept, such as like fourth wall breaking.
Mhm.
And it has 100 Girlfriends, and we're gonna stick with that, and we're gonna have fun with it. Kill Blue didn't need. I know you dropped Kill Blue, but for Kill Blue, it didn't need like that, like a blue balls hook to get me interested in it. Akane Banashi didn't need a blue balls hook to get me interested. It just needs to be like, okay, this is something that I can relate to because it's a genre that it's a genre based around performance, which, speaking from an actor's perspective, that is something right up my alley.
Yeah, didn't need like a giant blue balls to get me hooked in it. Who as a musician, like there's a lot of I feel like after Undead Unlock and the controversy that came from that, they kind of were like, okay, guys, we need to dial it back at least a little bit to not cause like a false outrage wave online. Even we kind of dug into like the fucking, haha, funny. We had the like suicide joke at the beginning, and like how Andy's hanging dick for the first like 10 chapters of this, but like it just bored the hell out of me like after the summer weapon arc. So I'm just like,
yeah, it was the same thing with me. And also as well, like two perfect examples that didn't need to like blue balls are a shocking hook. It was just like it was a hook that stuck with it. Mission Sakura Family and Dr. Stone.
yeah, like we had the petrification being pretty much like talk no jutsu in the first chapter, and then we had the like in Yo's fam we had like the marriage right at the first chapter, like boom, we're done. And now they're the family, and now we're gonna go and figure that shit out, right? Those worked super well.
Of course, you had some people who were saying like, "Oh, why couldn't we see this relationship develop over the course of the series?"
And then you end up with fucking Spy Family.
Yeah, and it's just there. Like, all you need to do is establish right away, first chapter, these two are childhood friends. They already know each other, but the girl has a secret that the guy doesn't know.
Right, and that is being the heir to this like Spy Family, and we have a lot of like the adventures of like all of the different ranks. We have like the taking down the psycho dad. We have a fucking even crazier villain in the background.
Which I've heard that apparently what they're going to be doing with the anime for Mission Sakura Family, which I've got to say, two cores for Mission Sakura Family. That the fact that got announced, I was very happy with that.
But it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, it's going to be on Hulu, but Disney Plus for the rest of the world. But yeah, apparently what I've heard is that they're cutting down a lot of initial slice of life chapters to kind of like get to the bloomings a lot quicker.
I like and don't like that at the same time. Like there was a lot of like padding to the slice of life stuff, but like it's also important to the development of the characters.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to keep in the majority of like the most important ones, because somebody said I was talking about this on the Yozakura Discord that they want to do like the whole Tampopo saga in season 1, which is like 85 chapters, and I said, how the hell are they going to do that? But then I thought like, well, considering Bleach Core 2 did 70 chapters, but that was all mainly battle oriented. So I'm like, well, if they cut down these chapters, like this chapter, I think could theoretically be cut out because it's not really important. So I was kind of thinking, like, yeah, they could potentially do it, depending on if they get like.
It's either going to be a great adaptation or it's going to be Full Metal Alchemist 2003. Like,
I like the Full Metal Alchemist 2003.
But like, it's going like instead of like it being a lot of filler, it'll just be a lot of like mispacing, and that's going to be a mess.
Apparently, what they've said is that they're trying to do it to get the pacing a lot, so like get to Momo a lot quicker.
I will agree though, like especially like the train battle stuff or like
The-
leading up to the train battle, like the inside the facility, that was kind of a drag. Reading it week to week.
Yeah, but I feel like the train battle, like when it's animated, that will be so good if they
Oh,
can do it.
yeah.
If they can do it, if they can do it right. And the studio that they've got for it, because they did the great Joy will not be defeated. That had action in some places, so I feel like they can do it.
Yeah, I mean they are mostly known for like slice of lifey with a mild action element style anime, and it'll be a testament to like, is the studio worth a damn moving forward kind of thing. Because if
Yeah.
they fuck this up, they're going to deal with like one of the most rabid fan bases on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely, especially with a particular fan of the series.
Would you believe me if I told you I muted his ass because I got sick of seeing it?
No, it wouldn't surprise me. It's gone to the point that even the Discord server is kind of a bit like roll your eyes moment.
Like,
He's
I'm an
basically
asshole on Twitter, but like, I'm not dogging on every fucking voice actor on the planet. I'm not shitting on every other series and only promoting one thing, right? I'll shit on Undead Unluck, but like, I will talk up other series. You know, that's the difference.
He's basically become like the Kirichiro of the Yozakura fan base at the
Honestly,
moment.
that's a good way of putting it, and I'm sure people in the comments will know who we're talking about and probably tag him. And I do not care.
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
don't. Well, he blocked me on Twitter, so he blocked me on Twitter. I honestly I can't remember the reason why.
I know, like, we had kicked him out of the server for a while, for being kind of weird, to say the least. But like, we kind of made amends, I thought. But like, I just muted him, like, because I just got tired of my entire feed being like him shitting on every other series but Yo's fam.
I thank God I've not had to deal with that.
Like, the crazy side of like fandom just shines through more than the like sane side. Look to My Hero for a perfect example of this. Because like, for every fucking conga line you see at a con and every pro shipper, you know, there are people that just like the series.
Yeah, and like I've been showcasing to several people in other Discord groups, some anime series, where we've just wrapped up the Devil of the Shield arc in Shield Hero, and they were like, "Oh, this has been really good. This has been really good, Luke." And I've been honest with them. Like, moving forward, it's not going to be as peak as that, but it's still going to be good either way.
Yeah, like, it's
Because after watching season 2 and 3 of Shield Hero, like, season 3 is better than season 2 hands down. But season 2, aside from the first half of it, I don't think it's as bad as people made it out to be.
No, it's mostly the CGI was really bad, and
Yeah, but then a lot of series have bad, like Power Rangers. Like, the CGI in Power Rangers is terrible, but like, it makes up for it in all the other aspects.
yeah, like, fucking the intro episode to Dino Thunder was like that fucking T-Rex statue at the beginning.
Yeah,
Was like not even PS1 quality CGI, right? But at the same time, like, the story so far, anyway, has been pretty good.
And like I said, Sordon, those are teenagers with attitude.
Oh, God, yeah. No, but like, I don't feel like one aspect should dismiss an entire series unless it is egregious, right? And like, I dropped Shield Hero for a while.
Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I dropped Shield Hero for a while because I wasn't a fan of the CGI, and I like picked back up. Ironically, after watching Imnus in the Shadow, and I've enjoyed like what I've watched of Shield Hero. I don't consider it as great as other people do, though. Like, I don't find it like this peak fiction. I enjoy it, but I don't consider it peak fiction, right? And that's, you know, like, a fair point, because not everybody's tastes are the same. I enjoy like Raftalia's character. I've enjoyed watching. I've enjoyed watching Bitch, you know, get her comeuppance. You know, but like, I feel like I've been so deep into isekai before that it just is nothing to me, right?
Yeah,
It's like empty calories.
yeah. I feel like if it's someone who's not as well versed in anime, they probably would enjoy it a lot more. And what you've said now compared to what the other guy who I've been watching it with I've said, that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy right there, because he's not as versed in anime as you are, so he's enjoyed it a lot more than you have.
Right. Like, and that's the thing, right? Because I spent a decent chunk of time watching like almost every isekai, because Party James and I did like that giant isekai podcast as well. Plug. But like I fell out of the genre for a while. I came back. I watched ReZero. I also watched Shield Hero. Eminence Shadows.
What's your opinion on ReZero?
I enjoy the fuck out of it, but I think it's because I've watched so many isekai that I just don't find it to be peak fiction either. I think like the characters and the trauma that they go through is a lot better than the handling of trauma and, character development in, say, Sword Art Online, right? And that's not a very high bar to fucking cross, I know. But like I watched those two basically back to back. I watched War of the Underworld, arc of fucking Sword Art Online, and then ReZero back to back. And I will say, like, going through ReZero was a better experience. And again, I realized that is not a high bar to cross.
Okay.
But like, I still think like Konosuba is my favorite isekai.
I don't blame you on that. Even though I still prefer Shield Hero over Konosuba. Konosuba
I
is
am
still
literally
really, really
darkness,
good.
basically. So it's just.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that you have said that.
But like, for just to kind of tie this in, because I feel like we've kind of touched on it. I mean, we might as well tackle a little bit of this overarching versus episodic, since we've been talking about it. I feel like the overarching, like, two core stuff that we're getting now is a lot better handling of the industry than like the episodic that we used to get, where like half of an episode could be filler. And you'll experience that a lot in Naruto when we get to it, because like if you look at Naruto Kai, it breaks down like exactly what portions of the series are filler, and there are inside that file package there are portions that are literally like 7 episodes put together because there was so much filler in them.
Yeah.
Like, it is so bad, and that is like how the industry used to handle things, right? Because they would get caught up with the source material, but like because they wanted to be a weekly series constantly, it became like 95% filler, 5% content, right? And One Piece was also guilty of that, and I think that's why they're doing like the One Piece, right? The remake. And I don't understand why they're doing it before like the original wraps up.
I would say wait until the original anime wraps up before you do One Piece Kai.
I think maybe they're planning it to run in concurrence with the end of One Piece.
But then that's just going to make people confused about which one, because it's going to be like, okay, and the voice actor for Luffy has stated, the Japanese voice actor for Luffy has stated, like, once the series ends, they're going to retire.
Yeah, so they're going to be casting like whole new crews, and like people are attached to the voice actors from the original, just like they were attached to like the big green dub of like Dragon Ball, and like this right when like fucking Funimation picked up, like people were hesitant to view the new version for the longest time, right? I feel like they'll run into that same issue. I know Netflix will handle it with all the tact as they handle anything else, which will be either like it gets like fully animated and fully, concluded, or it gets canceled after one season.
But yeah, I was just looking up. The Japanese voice actor for Luffy is 69. So, do you honestly think that they want to spend another like 10 years going through the same story again?
No, I really don't, and I feel like that's. I think I read like the voice actress for Goku is also retiring after Daima.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me.
But she's like 70 something.
Yeah, let me look at Goku's voice actress. Where where is it?
But like with something like Freyrin, right? Because that's the topic of the moment, right? The There's been like this push for like calling the dub shit, and I'm like, how is it shit? Like, it is one of the best dubs I've seen in the last 10 fucking years.
I am so fed up of people just like I've said this before and I'll say it again, like all you need to do is take a piece of like anime. You don't say what it's from, you don't say that it's anime, you just take one like a piece that makes it so that no Japanese dialogue is said or anything like that from a dub, have people listen to it without them knowing about it, and I guarantee they would not be as harsh.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's purism, right?
Yeah.
Because people want to experience like the original material, right? But to experience the original material in
it's to
a
read
traditional
the manga.
Well, not even read the manga. They would have to read the Japanese version of the manga before it's translated here. And how many people are going to put in the effort to learn Japanese to actually read it?
I've actually said that before. Like, people want the most authenticity. It's like, well, and it's kind of ironic that people bash on dubs anime when technically, if you really stop and think about it, a translated manga is basically an English dub of a manga.
Yep. But like, they would rather have their edgy fan translations than the official translation anyway, Luke. So what does it matter?
Especially the ones who will go out of their way. And I'm not going to say their name, but Fex already knows, who will go out of their way to say, to bash the official translation, but then say, I want to be sponsored by the official translation. You know who I'm referring to.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, if Chibi fucking Reviews can't get, sponsored by them, and he is like the most milquetoast, content creator on the side of manga YouTube, right? I don't think somebody that sits on Twitter 24/7 and shits on the official translations is going to get a chance.
Yeah. I'm
shocked Mother's Basement has been sponsored.
Yeah. Honestly, at that point, that person really needs to take a break from the internet, because it is not
They can't
healthy.
afford to take the break from the internet, Luke, because it's their entire income, remember?
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I've just looked up the Japanese voice actor for Goku. 87.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. October 25th. 1936.
She is as old as our president. A little bit older, actually. Fucking, that is depressing to think about. Goku's voice actress could probably run for president here, and would probably do better than the people that we have in office. But like, in the same vein, right? Like, I've enjoyed the fuck out of Freyrin, right? And having this overarching plot and this like really, really dedicated like fantasy world where not every moment is pure action really made me respect that style of story again, right? Because I'd spent the last like year or so watching basically like action-y series, other than like what we've been reading for like content purposes. Like, and even then, like, from a content perspective, like most of the shit that I've been a part of has been the Power Rangers stuff, and that's like basically pure action, right? So sitting down and having this relaxing, cozy anime with a little bit of action in it was really nice. And I feel like we don't really respect having a plot that carries from episode to episode or from chapter to chapter as much as we used to. Whereas, like, the vast majority of the content that is in the magazine and in anime really is, like, action sequence, action sequence, action sequence, action sequence, and that is the vast majority of all of it, right? So I feel like, even to, like, have, like, from the jump moving forward perspective, I feel like we need more stories like that, too.
No.
Oh, I feel like, I think you had,
sorry,
like, somebody...
Yeah, sorry, I was sorry, I had my mother just then. But yeah, but yeah, going back to what you were saying, so yeah, it is nice to have that like overarching story, to kind of be like, okay, where is this going? But at the same time, we shouldn't really like continuously bash episodics, because sometimes that is like, it's just nice to just sit down and have like a series where it's like, okay, we're just gonna have a nice comfort series where it's like, okay, what are the characters getting up into in this episode and that episode?
Right, like I love that kind of content when it's not like solely action based, right? Like I feel like in like at least the anime industry, like when we have like the episodic, it tends to lean more heavily into that, like the fight of the day versus like the story of the day, right?
Yeah.
The perfect example from like what I've watched recently, and I don't think what's the fucking English name of it? Give me a second here.
Okay.
Why is Crunchyroll not in my recent searches?
But yeah, I'll just say it right now. Let me just get it up. Yeah, one of my I would say one of my favorite like episodic slice of life series that I always go back to, because I just like it's just such relaxing comfort food, is this series is The Order of Rabbit, which I've mentioned before. And I would say check out that series, folks, because it's only like 3 seasons, 12 episodes.
Yeah, right. I have that in my watch list actually. Blood Blockade Battlefront, right? That was the fucking name of it. Kaki Senin, I think is how it's said in Japanese. But like Thurman and I watched the first season in way back when we were doing like the anime awards videos. But like that is like full on like action fight of the week, basically, right? Whereas I feel like also Solo Leveling is in that same vein, and I've enjoyed the hell out of that. So like it might just be like the taste of what's going on in the series. Like Solo Leveling is just like so good, and I love the dub of that one as well. It is really well acted. The direction in it, you can tell the emotions. The song from I think it's episode 7, 7 or 8. I actually sat down in front of like a piano simulator to try and relearn how to play the fucking piano after hearing that. I haven't fucking been that invested in a piece of music in so long, and like there was just something about how that played in the background during the fight. It just blew me away. Like the atmosphere from that scene was just so tense, but at the same time so gut-wrenching. So I highly recommend Solo Leveling. I know a lot of people have recommended it to me, like reading the manhwa.
I'll see, because I've probably got it in my Solo Leveling. I've probably got it in my anime list.
Yeah.
Solo Leveling. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the awards, because there were because I really would like to, obviously, when you're not busy, to do a video on this year's Crunchyroll Awards.
Yeah, we could probably do that after I get back in a couple
weeks. Because looking at like the awards on that, like, okay, that is ridiculous. Just
I mean, it's always been that way, though. Like, I feel like it's the same way I feel about the Game Awards, right? Like, eventually, like, it loses this is for the fans and becomes this is for the industry itself, right? It's essentially like turned into the Oscars, but like for anime. And like it's sad to see like these fan-based awards kind of turn into bullshit industry platforms, but it kind of just comes with needing budget and needing funding and wanting to dive into like more mainstream. Like if I watched not like watched the Oscars, but I watched like the highlights of it on fucking Twitter, and I saw like more jabs at animation. I saw more jabs at like the fact that like, oh, I bet your kids voted for this thing, and I'm just like, it's the same fucking argument every year. Like, animation is cinema, like, full stop. We need to stop shitting on it just because it's targeted towards a different demographic when
Yeah.
realistically animation is for everyone.
Yeah, it's like with how a Miyazaki film won this year
Right,
over
not
like by
not a Disney, not a fucking DreamWorks, not a any. He's a goddamn Studio Ghibli movie. Last year, fucking a Netflix original won. It's funny seeing Disney not win awards, so I'm all for that. But it's strange that we still have that like childlike mentality of this can only exist for kids in 2020 fucking 4.
yeah.
But like
Where
that's what anime awards
I
turn into for me.
yeah, I honestly want I honestly would have watched this clip again and again if it had happened if Michael B. Jordan just got up on the Oscars award stage with just a Dragon Ball t-shirt on.
I mean, I would have loved that. But here's the funny thing, right? Like with The Boy and the Heron winning, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it is like the least kid-friendly Ghibli movie I've seen. Like it is very like mature in its themes.
Is it like Grave of the Fireflies mature?
Yeah, like it's on that level of mature.
Okay.
Like it's not like a dumb kiddie plot. It's not like a cutesy like shut your brain off thing like Ponyo or Arrietty. It is very mature in its themes, and I respect the fuck out of that winning. In the Pinocchio movie that won the last year's animation was like really dark and gritty, but it was also a Guillermo del Toro movie, so I expected that moving in. I did not expect Boy and the Heron to be as dark and gritty in its. Well, I wouldn't say dark and gritty because it's a beautiful film, but like thematically, it's a lot more, mature.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I just looked at the English cast. One of the maids is Barbara Goodson.
Yeah, Barbara Goodson, I believe. Robert Pattinson was in it as well. I
Yeah,
think he played the main character.
Mark Hamill as
Yep.
well. Okay, I am definitely gonna watch it
Yeah,
now.
it like the cast is fucking insane, and Ghibli like for their dubs have been going really hard lately, and I love that. Now is it Miyazaki's last film? Probably for the next 2 years, and then he'll come back and say, "I got another one in me," because he can't
feel
fucking
like-
stay retired.
Yeah, I feel like well, crap. It's on at my local cinema, but I'm working because I'm now in Thursday now, but it's when I'm going to be working, so I'm like, oh crap.
It should be on HBO Max as well.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to actually go and see it at the cinema.
I paid $0 to see it because I have a membership to my theater. But like, I feel dirty saying that for something as beautiful as that. But like, I pay $19 a month to have like premiere access. I get to see 3 movies a week for free. Essentially, that's how that works. Whenever I say I never saw or I never paid to see it, I technically did pay a membership fee to see it.
I could actually go and see it on Sunday. It's still playing on Sunday. So yeah, I'll probably go and check it out on Sunday.
It's definitely worth it. I saw it. I saw fucking End of Evangelion, and I had a basically empty theater for End of Evangelion.
Yeah.
Like that was awesome to see on the big screen. Like
Yeah.
if you haven't seen it, like Evangelion, I recommend while it's still in theaters there, like going and seeing that as well. Like you can binge the whole series in a night, basically.
Okay, but yeah, it does seem like Boy and the Heron is playing in a few theaters near me for the next like week or so. So yeah, I'll definitely go. Because I'm not working this weekend, so I'll probably go and see it on Sunday. Have to get up at like for 10 to get there for 10:30.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like. I saw like the last one, the 3D animated one. I forget, like Earwig and the Witch, I believe is what it was called. And I didn't enjoy that. But I'm also not as big a fan of 3D animation as I am 2D. And like when I think Ghibli, I think 2D animation. But like that was probably like my like movie of the year in the animated category, other than Spider-Verse. I agree, like Spider-Verse deserved a lot of praise. But also it was mired by like the working conditions there, and that was why I feel like people kind of didn't vote for that. because it was like well documented, like they didn't have the best working conditions. There was a lot of crunch involved, but like that also comes with the fucking film industry in general, especially from like special effects departments. Like you've heard about the horrible like working conditions for like the MCU as well. I'm not trying to excuse
absolutely.
it, but like I feel like giving awards to Disney in general or to Sony in general for that in like any capacity is a little bit hypocritical when you're also shitting on the other side of the fence, right?
Yeah.
But like with just to kind of wrap this up, with the overarching versus episodic, it really is like a taste thing. I feel like, I feel like we can also expand on this a little bit more, like in a different video, but just to kind of give a little snippet of that, like it's definitely taste. I feel like it's the same thing as like us going into a discussion of like, does The Simpsons or Family Guy kind of run into the ground? And I definitely agree, yes. But it's just how they handle the like adventure of the week style format of an episodic basis versus like South Park, for example, where it has like an overarching plot now for that season.
Yeah.
I feel like it just comes down to like which you enjoy more. Do you like to shut your brain off and watch pretty colors go across the screen, or do you want to like sit down and think about the plot and something like a monster, versus like Solo Leveling where it's a lot of fights. There's a story there, but like it's not as like upfront. It's more of like watch the cool fights and watch the cool beams go across and the stabbies and all that, versus like Monster where you're trying to like uncover like a massive plot, of like who's to blame kind of thing. But like with stuff like My Hero, for example, it's also like an episodic format for a lot of it, but it also has like the whole plot in the background to a Dragon Ball extent. So there's like different ways to handle even these individual media of like telling a story, right?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts from you though?
My final thoughts would be just hoping Jump moves forward, has a plan for everything, and also as well with the other topics, like anyone out there still bashing on dubs, don't be. It's not worth it.
Right. It's really not. I've with that one in particular, I feel like it is an inherent bias that's coming in from another side of media right now in the gaming industry, where a lot of people aren't liking DEI higher. Like, I'm not even going to dive into that can of worms in this video, but like having certain actors and actresses in it seems to be a big pushing point for certain websites right now. And I think it's fucking stupid because I would rather have the person that knows how to sound and act like the character sound and act like the fucking character instead of hiring somebody that is not meant to be in that role. That is just like my 2 cents on that whole can of worms. Like, I would rather a trans person play a trans person in there instead of having like a cis person play the trans person, right? I would rather have a black person play a black character instead of having a white person play the black character because they know how they sound and how they act and everything. That's just like logic. But people don't like that, and I don't think that's like for Fravren. I think it's just like people don't like Crunchyroll in general, and I get it because Crunchyroll has kind of fucked over their own fan base. Raising prices and becoming
raising prices with Funimation, which apparently that's only for like people who are migrating from Funimation, not the actual people on Crunchyroll.
Right. That's why I wasn't affected. Like they migrated my fucking plan, not my plan, but like my watch list and everything from the Funimation app. So now my fucking watch list is a mess.
But also as well, my other final thought would be like, okay, if everything on Funimation is coming to Crunchyroll, make it so. Don't be having it being like, so like, for example, say I'm like, okay, I want to get into Fairy Tail. Okay, do I have all of Fairy Tail on Crunchyroll? Nope.
Like, this is me as a fucking Magus Bride fan, right? We just got the dub for the OVAs on there. And they have been saying that they were going to put the dub of the OVAs on there for like 3 years now. All right. And that is like just like we had the German dub, we had the French dub, we had the fucking like the Spanish dub, but we didn't have the English dub for 3 fucking years.
If they really wanted to combat piracy, they would be doing what people are
You mean
asking them
combat
to do.
what they used to be? They used to be a piracy site.
Yeah.
That's what's so fucking stupid about this entire argument, right? Like, they used to be a fucking piracy site, and now they're trying to combat piracy while shitting on the fact that, like, we want to shut down all the piracy sites when we used to be one. But now, and I can make this joke because I am trans, they self-identify as a legal streaming site. But like, what pisses me off the most out of all of this, right, is we lost our digital libraries. Like, those of us that had digital copies of stuff. Like, I had the digital copies of Ancient Magus Bride, like the OVAs and the fucking season 1. I had fucking, like, entire seasons of, you know, Paranoia Agent. I had a bunch of the Satoshi Kon movies, like digital copies of them, and now I don't, because they deleted the whole library when they merged the app, and they're supposed to, like, give some sort of compensation. I figure it'll be like free months of Crunchyroll Premium.
No, I feel like what they should be doing for compensation is giving people the opportunity at either a majorly discounted price, or at the same time a free price, to be able to order, like, a physical copy of, like, say for example, you want a physical copy of Paranoia Agent, you can get that. I have
it. That's how I got the digital copies. That's the digital copies from Funimation came bundled with physical media for the most part.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, give people the opportunity for say a year to get a physical copy of what they had.
Yeah, if they didn't have the physical copy, they should be able to get that. If they had the physical copy, like I bought, like, directly from the Funimation store, like Soul Eater, I bought from the Funimation store stuff like Paranoia Agent, Ancient Magus Bride, like all that. I feel like I should just be compensated with, like, you know, either like a partial refund or, like, maybe, you know, free months of the fucking premium.
Well, yeah, like you said, like a full refund or a partial refund.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, I bought Ancient Magus Bride in, like, 2018, 2019, so I don't think that they would give me a full refund for the $57 purchase, I think it was at the time.
No. Well, if you never bought it as, like, a physical copy, I'd say give a full refund.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because they no longer have access to that content, right? Well, they do. They have it on, like, fucking Crunchyroll, but, like, they don't have access to the copy that they owned, technically. That's the ethics side of this, is, like, they owned that digital copy. Well, they owned a license to it, technically, but they owned that. And that's the same issue I have with, like, digital gaming, is, like, you don't really own it. You realistically don't own the physical copies anymore, because it's just, like, a digital license key anymore, but, like, you still have the thing in your hand, right? That's what I enjoyed about having, like, a physical media library. Is like having all of that to, you know, my own person, and not just dump it on an NAS server, but, like, it's still, like, my copy. I can view it wherever the fuck I'm at through Plex, but I still own the disc, right?
Yeah.
But, like, from the side of, like, legality, I feel like I wouldn't even say legality, but, like, from, like, the merger side of things, they should just fucking refund people or give them free membership or whatever. But like, it's a shitty situation for those, because one of my friends had, like, hundreds and hundreds of physical digital bundles, where he just literally put every fucking code he'd ever gotten, because he essentially got every physical release from Funimation, right? Because he just was, like, our media share guy in college. So every time a new series came out on physical media, he would buy it. And we had, like, a group account, essentially, of, like, every single fucking Funimation release. And I think he spent close to $100,000 building that library up. And all of it was just gone in a day. And he could afford it because he was a fucking IT supervisor for a company I can't legally name, but yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna DM you the one that I think that I'm probably thinking of,
okay,
and say yay or nay.
Okay.
There you are.
Yes, you are correct.
Oh, okay.
That's
All
how
right,
we
yeah,
can afford that.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like he was clearing like 300K salary. So
Okay.
yeah, it was a fucking just piss in the bucket to him. But like he really, was thoroughly pissed when he lost it all because like I paid, $100,000 to build up this library or close to, and it was just gone overnight. And he's like leading like a class action lawsuit against them for it. And I don't really blame him. I'm like, sure, I'll get my $13 probably. I'll join this shit, But like it just comes with like the evolution of time, right? We're going ever more into like an all digital age, and that's a sad reality of like no ownership. And this is going to be like a bigger topic at some point of like all the different subscription services and everything. So I figured it was a
Yeah.
great way to wrap this up as a tease for the next episode. Well, yeah, that I feel like that's a good ending point, right?
Yeah, that's a good ending point as well. And it's getting late for me, so I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna head off now.
Yep. Peace, everyone.
Peace.